Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot, and welcome to your general readings for the sign in the title below, because it's a bulk introduction, for the supermoon, full moon in Scorpio on the 26th or 27th of month we're in, April, for wherever you are in the world. Here in Britain it's on the 27th, in America it's mainly on the 26th. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the astrology of this because I'll be live streaming 6 p.m. UK time, so 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on YouTube with astrologer David Fisher. We'll go through the astrology then. As ever, general reading rules apply. Timing is not absolute. This is an interesting full moon. I think I tend to look at these readings as looking over the lunar cycle or half lunar cycle, if you know what I mean, from full moon to full moon, rather than new to new. So we'll see how long that they last. You should hopefully pick up the energies from them. If someone else appears in the readings, roles can get reversed. Doesn't very often happen in the spread that I'm using. But as I say, timing is far from absolute is the main point here. So, as ever, I would like you to hit that like button if you like the reading, or if you like the video even. No, the reading might not be so hot. And feel free to subscribe to the channel while you're here, because it really does help. I think that's it for my housekeeping. The reason I do a bulk introduction with a timestamp in the description below, so that you can fast forward to the reading, don't do it yet, is I would like to watch your sun, your moon and your rising. And you don't need to listen to me waffle 3 times over. You know what I mean? So there is a timestamp below if you're wanting to fast forward if this is your second or third time round. And there is a link to the Facebook page for this channel, where I post these videos, obviously, because I do not trust YouTube notifications. But I also post the weather report style astrology YouTube videos that I watch, so you can learn along with me, and I try to make it a bit of a one-stop shop. So anyway, I think that's everything. Oh yeah, if you don't know your moon or your rising sign, there's a link down there for there's 2 links: free birth charts, AstroSeek or Cafe Astrology. I'm now tending more towards using the AstroSeek, just because I know what I'm doing a little bit more, and there's so much you can get the chart to be presented the way you want it to be. So this full moon, it's an interesting one. It's ruled by the angel Jeliel. 7 degrees Scorpio is ruled by the angel Jeliel, who represents recapturing the spark and love and wisdom. Now, that recapturing the spark could mean the passion for a project, a field of research, or a person, you know. So there is that whole romantic element to it. There is a lot of, if you look into the positions of the planets and the degrees that they're holding and the degree symbols and what have you, there is a lot of sexual energy in this full moon, which figures with us just coming off the back of that Venus-Uranus conjunction, although again, that's about more than just relationships and sex lives. But what I've also found is interesting is the relationship to other new moons. Being in Scorpio, it represents transformation. Now, the moon, if my notes are correct, is in its fall in Scorpio anyway. But it's also, being in Scorpio, traditionally ruled by Mars. And Mars is just gone into Cancer. So the moon and Mars are in mutual reception. They're amping each other up. So I think there's any transformations that are begun more under or that are ongoing, I think it would be an even better way to put it, will have that little bit extra oomph. Now, Scorpio under modern rulership is ruled by Pluto. As we know, Pluto's still in Capricorn. But 7 degrees Scorpio is the site of the Pluto of harmonic convergence, which, if you know your hippie woo-woo, then that was a big event in the late, oh, I didn't write the date down, 87, 88, where there was this opening of all new energies coming onto the planet. So I think it's quite significant where this full moon is potentially giving us a chance to actually use those energies now. We've had plenty enough time since the 80s, late 80s, to assimilate to them. It's about time we use them. And also, the other thing I noticed is that it's on Aleister Crowley's Jupiter. Now, there was something else that was like really hocus pocusy with this full moon. I didn't write it down. I've forgotten what it was. But I would imagine this full moon would be great for full moon rituals. However, watch every single astrology forecast video I've posted on that YouTube page first. Do your research. Make sure that what you would be magically working towards, creatively visualizing, sat with a candle, what have you, is in line with the astrological energies that are there. Because I noticed the closer we get to the full moon, the astrologers' descriptions of this full moon are getting nicer and nicer. And there are some beautiful aspects to it. But there are also some quite traumatic aspects as well. So be careful what you ask for, because you might just get it. I think it's the, sometimes the genie is best left in the bottle. That's something that I think you really need to pay some attention to. Myself, I'm not planning any hocus pocus for the full moon this time. I'm just going to sit and let, I suppose the phrase would be trust the process. Allow the transformation energies to unfurl. Because for me, I was alive during harmonic convergence. So for me, this is really, really important. And it being on Aleister Crowley's Jupiter makes me think that magic at this time has a high chance of getting bigger. But it's Crowley, it's double-edged. Do you know what I mean? So you be very, very careful what you ask for. Now, I've also been reading a lot about Franz Barden and the entities he calls the degree heads, who are entities that inhabit each individual degree of the zodiac and can be evoked just like any spiritual entity or magical entity can be evoked, if you know about your evocation. Now, this one is, let me pronounce it correctly, Amelie. Now, Amelie, here's the description, protects man against all infectious diseases and causes him to look after himself so that he is at any time able to resist infection. If karmic reasons make it necessary, or if it lies in one's fate, this head, i.e. the entity Amelie, will not prevent an infection. Amelie teaches the magician many means of protection against the most diverse types of infectious diseases from the magical point of view. Since there exists also the possibility of mental or astral influences, Amelie also instructs the magician in this respect. He teaches him how to protect himself after having been made acquainted with special magical practices against negative astral influences and against influences of negative beings. So if you are going to try any hocus pocus with this full moon, talking to Amelie may not be a bad idea, given the situation of the world at the moment. Negative astral influences? Well, let's use the by now tiresome term of fake news. We've already seen what damage fake news can do. And infectious diseases. I wonder what's going on in the world that could relate to that. But apparently I can't say such things on YouTube. So I won't mention even the V word, never mind, the C word. Not that it makes the slightest bit of difference to me anyway, because is I am not yet monetized. But, you know, I'd like people to see the readings that follow this. Now, that is pretty much all that I'm wanting to talk about with the new moon, full moon. Apart from new moon, yes. Now, Scorpio transformation. And there was an aspect between the recent, the last new moon, the Aries new moon, and Pluto, which was instigating transformation energies. You know what I was saying about the transformation with the harmonic convergence Pluto? There's that sense of revealing, unveiling, that deeper secrets, deeper truths, deeper realities, stripping things away. Scorpio is also the sign of death and transformation. It is the death card in the tarot. So, as I say, the death card in the tarot is not scary because if you get a job, it's the death of poverty. If you get a relationship, it's a death of loneliness. You know, so death is not necessarily bad, but you're watching a tarot reading anyway. So, apart from I'm not using tarot this, well, I am a bit. So you know this already. But there was transformation that was triggered by that Aries new moon. Not even triggered as in the seed was sown, but triggered as in, right, here is the energy to start it. Here, we seem to be clearing all the crap out that we found that's in the way of this transformation. It's like deciding to redecorate your kitchen and then you open a cupboard and find that you hadn't emptied it after all, and you need to empty this cupboard before you can do the next bit of work. So this full moon promises to be really, really useful and dramatic. Like I say, we're just coming off that Venus-Uranus conjunction, so I think that may be adding a little bit of spice into our lives one way or another. So, with no further ado, I don't think I've got anything more to add, and I'm trying to cut down these intros since we're doing the live streams. Yeah, the live stream may be shorter. I've said that already, haven't I? So, like, share, subscribe, and I'll bring up your cards. Okay, Gemini, if you've watched these Gods at Play readings before, you know that the top row represents the masks that the archons wear as they try to keep you separate from your divine nature, your higher self, your true soul, your relationship with God, your destiny, whatever. And the bottom row represents the gods themselves as they try to lift you up. And you've got some heavyweights here. Even before I go through them, I just want you to notice, talking of lifting you up, you have Ma'at here with judgment and Uranus with remoteness. But the masks that the archons are wearing to suppress you, you know, keep you vibrating in misery and fear. We have Osiris with renewal, Odysseus with the journey, Rhiannon with self-trust, Scylla with drama, and Eros with desire. On your side, Jade Emperor, organisation, Themis with natural order, and the Muses with inspiration, as well as Ma'at and Uranus. Now, the message that I'm getting from here is, in a way, it was at first quite opposite to the one I've just given Taurus. But then I've seen a harmony here. You will be using that Taurian energy to dig your heels in, you know, because you don't need to change nothing. Now, what I am saying is that there is some form of offer, which, being represented by the archons, is obviously a trap, because this top row always represents a trap. There is an offer that is pushed to you that you should help change something. So this is affecting you and others, I would imagine, because it's a big drama that this thing needs changing, or this thing, how can I put it? Yeah, that this thing needs changing. Whether you say yes or no to agreeing with it, then there's big drama. And there, I believe that alongside this offer, there is an invitation to truly doubt yourself. As you can imagine. I mean, to constructively criticize yourself and readjust yourself accordingly is not a bad thing. To just doubt yourself is not a good thing. Not when it's coming from this top row with Rhiannon. I mean, the story of Rhiannon is it took her a year to overcome her own doubts that she had been tricked into believing she'd killed her baby, and she couldn't remember it. And then it took her a year to go, but I can't remember it and I wouldn't do it. So how am I supposed to be guilty of this? And she had ended up as a punishment because everyone thought she had done it, and therefore she didn't know of a way to deny it. She'd ended up in a lot of work, a lot of labour, having to carry visitors to her king's castle as if she was a horse, which is why horses are now sacred to her. Whatever this offer is that is coming to, it's coming to upset the apple cart, basically. With a Skilla with drama here, it's because, and whether this is obvious or not, it's because of what somebody else is wanting. Now, the archons work through actions of people as the gods do. So I'm not saying that whoever is doing all this wanting is wrong to want what they're wanting. Actually, on this one I am. Normally I wouldn't be. I think on this one I am. This renewal is not needed because something will be missing. And check the Wikipedia page for Osiris if you don't know what I'm talking about. Again, family show. And you don't need right now to go on this massive journey, this massive change, this massive upheaval, rebranding, whatever it is that is presented to you in a dramatic fashion. You don't need to do it. Let events unfold. I think is whatever the challenge is, and whatever this drama is that is causing somebody to use this as an excuse to try and get what they want by demanding this renewal, rebirth, rebranding, change. No, your foundations are strong. Jade Emperor with organization. The way you are doing things right now will suffice, will deal with it, will cope with it, whatever this drama is. There's an element of storm in a teacup, like it's being used as an excuse for someone who's, I've always wanted the company, the family, our friends, whatever, to go and get involved in this. They may be perfectly well-meaning in that as well. So I don't want you to start, assigning blame and seeing them as a emissary of the archons. They're not. They're like all of us. They are tools of the archons. We are tools of the archons until we learn not to be. And here's an opportunity for you to learn not to be. But it's really easy to learn it this time, because all you have to do, I have turned my microphone. Yeah. I had a horrible thought then that I was just talking away and no sound was being recorded. There was one last check. There was whatever structures you have in place at the moment are fine, absolutely fine. They will cope. Now is not necessarily the time to take action. Let things proceed as they will. The organization will cope, and natural order. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Natural order will allow events to unfold as they will. And that is where, as you stand back, Uranus with remoteness, and get the bigger picture, Uranus as the sky, Mars as judgment, then inspiration will come to you as to how to progress forward. But I honestly think in this, whatever this drama is that's presented to you as a need for change, in this instance, less is more. It is better to stand back and allow things to occur and watch until you can go, there's my moment. Right, let's see what the tarot have got to add to this. Yes, you're being called to the offer or the demand that you've got to change everything. They're saying that you've got to level up. Now, normally I love that phrase. Yeah, level up. I need to do that in a deeper voice, don't I? Level up. No, that didn't work either. But normally I would say, yeah, go for it. But what I don't like is how there is this, do you think you haven't got the power to do this? Do you know that they are using a trick to get you on their side by saying something along the lines of, well, if you don't think you've got the power or the skills or the ability or the guts or the courage to do it, then fine. And they're trying to push you into that place where emotionally you're going to go, I have got the power, I've got the power, but I have got the courage, I have got the stomach for this, I have got the whatever for this. And then they stand back and go, good, you're going to do exactly what I want then, aren't you? And what you're more needed to do is stand back and say, it's too soon for any action just yet. Let's just see how this works out. Let's see how this plays out. A direction will come forward and we'll know how to transform when we need to. But right now, we don't need to. We do not need to. We can ignore it. So I am thinking again, I don't know if there's something, I haven't hugely studied the full moon chart yet, although I've listened to a load of the astrologers posted on the Facebook page, link down below. You heard that in the beginning, or at least I assume you did. I haven't filmed the start of it yet. But it feels very businessy, this. But I think, again, that could be a metaphor, and maybe a hangover from the Taurus reading that I just did, because that felt, I kept using business as a metaphor there. But stand back, let events unfold. You do not need to be goaded into action. In fact, you do not really need to take an action at all, apart from when it becomes apparent. But it will become apparent from within you, not from somebody else in front of you jumping up and down saying, this has got to be done, this needs to change. My reading's very conservative. Gemini, I'm only on number 3, but they're very conservative in it this month. I mean, well, no, having said that, Aries was, let's rebel against everything. But Taurus was a bit conservative. Yours is conservatives, small c, I want to say. But to be honest, a conservative attitude right now of, do we need to do this now? Do we need to change this now? Can we not wait to see how things unfold. And then if we do need to change, we can change it for the better, not just based on what they are saying is unstable ground to start off with. Because change is coming. You win with this. We've got Lauia, with victory here. Now, 3 cards fell out. And what I really like here is the other 2 cards that came out. Lelahel with Light of Understanding, and it, oh, I can never say this one. Ierathel, or Ieratel, with Propagation of Light. What you, so there's a process here. Victory to start off with. The victory is in the standing back. Light of Understanding. So the understanding grows as you've allowed events to unfold and to play out, because you have plenty of options of how to move forward once you are seeing the bigger picture, and that's when change comes in for the better. Death card here. And then finally, Ieratel with the Propagation of Light. So you win by doing nothing, standing back, watching, absorbing, letting the established processes cope with whatever is happening. And as you see that unfold, then you get inspired in that process to elicit some form of change, because you have plenty of options. Maybe you have too many options right now, and it's not a good idea to just grab the first option that comes along and say, oh, we'll change this way. Change is coming, yeah. But do not let somebody else manipulate you into making a change in a way that in a way that just gets them what they want. Because if you boil it down, you've heard them sing that song before and you know precisely what they want. And if you take on board this change that they're talking about, then you are giving them what they want. Which might not be a bad thing, but it would be a bad thing right now. Because if they do deserve you giving them what they want, they also deserve you giving them what they want in the best possible fashion. And that's what's going to come up. So do not be goaded into action. Do not rush into any massive changes here. Yeah, I think that's a lot, Gemini. I hope that means something to you. So if it does, comment down below. Obviously, if you like the video, press like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Join me for a live stream. Might be a short live stream, but a live stream on Saturday night. I'm having some work done on my mouth tomorrow, so I am hoping that Saturday night I will still be able to talk. If not, then astrologer David Fisher will be on as well, and we'll be having a look at the astrology of the full moon in greater detail at the very least. And if I can still talk, you might get some more card readings that night as well. All right, cheers.